It's an ML Sports Take here, brought to you by Welch & Company Jewelers and Stumbling Monkey Brewing Company. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. 71-52, the Bonnies just really ran away from Niagara, especially in the second half. In the first half, I thought the Bonnies left a lot of points on the table. I really did, whether it was, a play that looked like it was going to be executed and the ball got thrown away, or missed three-pointers where they just kept gunning them and gunning them and gunning them. They shot 24 three-pointers, a lot of shots, from beyond the arc in the first half. They ended up shooting 11 for 24, though. So it's like when you looked at it in the first half and they were missing a bunch, they did hit, that 3 or 4 stretch, and they missed a bunch in a row there. You say, oh, geez, got to go to the hole, go to the hole, go to the hole. And they went to Brown late in the first half, and it was a big man versus a big man. He gets fouled. You're like, geez, that was easy maybe to get some free points. But when you look at the totality of it, you shoot 46% from three and you have 33 points come off of threes. You're like, okay, well, you chucked, but then yet you didn't, and it kind of evened out, I guess. I don't know. But this team, I thought, could have been up easily 7-10 points more in the first half. Just a couple of passes that, got thrown out of bounds or whatever the case may be. Like I said, the missed three-pointers and all the rest. But their starters were lights out today. They had 5 guys in double figures. They only had 2 points coming off the bench. In this game, really, it was a 13-point lead at halftime. You felt really good about it, yet you felt like they could have been up 20, honestly. And then all of a sudden in the second half, just a classic runaway by a Schmidt team. How many times have we seen this through the almost 2 decades of Mark Schmidt basketball at the RC? Even without students there, it was a crowd that was a little lower in the volume, well, a lot lower in terms of the volume and the energy. And when Moore made that jumper, I was like, okay, they are just going. And Council, three-pointer, you're like, now they're up 21. I feel pretty good. This game's over. I mean, it was 16-33 in the second half. And I felt like this game was completely over. Another game where the defense just locked it down when they had to. I thought as the second half moved along, a lot of the passing, the rotation was tremendous. A lot of the team stats, the Bonnies just dominated right? Like shooting percentage, three-point percentage, rebounding. I think one great thing, and I've said it a bunch of times, right? All these players are going to the rim. How many times this season have we seen, it doesn't matter if it's Niagara, another opponent, where there's 2 or 3 Bonnies around the rim and there's nobody from the other color jersey, right? There's nobody from the opponent anywhere. And the Bonnies they can lock down on a defensive play, and everybody in a Bonaventure uniform is around the rim. They had 7 more steals today. They only turned over 7 times. Again, a lot of the team stats, they dominated in, and all the guys in double figures in the starting rotation. Hinton had a pretty poor shooting game outside of the threes, but Council Jr. continues to be that energy bug and arguably their best player. I still think Chance Moore is their best player overall. But when you get Moore and Jones, who, by the way, I haven't talked about Jones enough this year, but what a player he is, and he gave him 16 today. He is so calm, cool, and collected. He's 6'6", 6'7", 220, playing a guard position. Part of the length, athleticism, and strength and leanness of this Bonnies group, right? I mean, he exemplifies it as much as anybody else. And, you think about this guy here coming from Tarleton State. I mean, where does Mark Schmidt and his staff find these guys? He has come in and been an unbelievable jolt to the Bonaventure program. And this is where I tried telling people when NIL and portal came up, and it's obviously continued, and it's an immediate thought of, you're going to lose out to Power 5 programs, Bonaventure's dead, the NIL, blah, blah. And Ironman 2.0, and they all left, but they had given everything that they had to the program at the time, and, they wanted to go outside and see what they could get, and grabbing some black bags and some money, and going to Power 5 programs and all the rest. You know what? Good luck to them, and everybody thought that was the end of the world. And I tried telling people, like, the portal, for as much as it can hurt you at this level for Bona, not Power 5, not Kentucky, Michigan State, Gonzaga, Power 5, Power 6, or a Gonzaga-type program, nowhere near a mid-major anymore. But for as much as it can hurt you, it can still help you, because you are recruiting there's still people out there who are Bonaventure-type players, but they're not at St. Bonnie yet, right? that is the case. And I think that's the case for a lot of other programs too. Like, you lose some guys, but then you go out and find some players who are, wow, these guys are just like us. And you get players in, and I mean, let's be honest right now. I mean, this collection of, I am blown away that this team is 12-1. They're 6-0 at home. The RC is a big-time home court advantage, like always. But they're 12-1. Folks, the only better scenario is that they're undefeated. And you know what? They could have beaten Utah State. But if they beat Utah State, maybe they slip up somewhere else, right? I've used that argument with Syracuse football this year where, you know, it changed like that with Fran Brown, where a lot of SU fans, all of a sudden expectations were created. It's like, oh, they should have beaten Stanford and BC, and there's no way that Kyle McCord could have a bad game against Pittsburgh. And it's like, wait, what? You actually think like that as an SU football fan, where the season used to be what it was, and it was forgotten about. It's basketball season now, right? But if you beat Stanford and you beat BC, maybe there are 2 games on the road that you don't win, especially with Stanford and the momentum. Shortly after that, they had NC State on the road, and they had UNLV on the road. They won both of those games. Maybe you don't beat 3 top 25 teams for the first time since 1998, right? Sports are weird. You know, there's no, I don't know, there's no like real telling sign of what Bonaventure would do schedule-wise and win and loss-wise if they had beaten Utah State. All I know is if you look at the whole picture, this team went in the non-con, and they went 12-1. And I don't want to hear from the people, the negativity with, oh, well, they don't play anybody. And this, that. Every time you roll the ball out in college basketball, because of how balanced the talent is now with NIL portal and the fact that you're still going out on the road, you can still catch somebody and they can have a great day and you can have a bad day. I mean, was the schedule a little bit weaker? Okay, fine. But it doesn't mean that you can just roll through or you're going to guarantee some things. I mean, there's still some pretty good players on a lot of these teams that Bonaventure played. And Utah State, to me, right now, when you look at what they've done this season and how high scoring they are, and the fact that they're 10-1 in the Mountain West, and you go and look at their schedule, and the fact that they've poured points on everybody all year long, they beat Iowa, right, this year. You know, St. Bonaventure could have beaten Utah State. They hung right there with them, a possession here, a possession there. I don't know, man. They went 12-1, and the biggest thing for me is all these newcomers have come together and looked great. And you heard Frank Schmeling talk on my show just recently about how there was a vibe there, and he's in the locker room with these guys, and he saw it in the preseason. Like, there's something about that they came here, bought the Bona way, bought the Schmidt way, and they've all come together collectively, and this team went 12-1 in the non-com. I mean, 12-1 in the non-con. This is a tremendous start. I didn't see it coming. Maybe a 9-3 kind of thing, or 9-4, or a 10-3. Okay, like even 11-2, yeah, but 12-1 with a possession here or there away from being undefeated, and that other win coming against a team that is probably a tournament team that can shoot the lights out, that if they get in, could be a Sweet 16 contender. Folks, this is as good as you could have ever imagined. In the NIL portal era, you get Woj in there, all these things that have come together to go 12-1, and I love the fact that they start at home in the A-10. They get 10 days off as well, rest the bodies, road games, home games. You know, you're going to play Dayton in late January. Like, let's see what happens here, but 12-1, bravo to the Bonnies. Mike Lindsley with you here. It's an ML Sports Take. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel, as it's brought to you by Batavia Downs Gaming and Western OTB. And as I always tell you, enjoy the games.